Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive all about the Changan Nevo E07. You're thinking about going electric, and this new model has caught your eye, huh?
Smart move. It's turning a lot of heads.
To get you up to speed, we've got articles, first impressions, spec breakdowns, all that good stuff, ready to go deep on the E07.
Absolutely. There's a lot to unpack here.
Well, buckle up, because here's the first big thing.
Yeah.
This EV can transform.
Yeah, it's not just some minor seat adjustment.
Well, we're talking full-on shape-shifting from a sleek SUV to a pickup truck. Can you imagine showing up at a campsite with this thing?
Talk about making an entrance. That sliding glass canopy over the roof is the key. Slide it back, tailgate drops down, bam, you've got yourself a pickup bed ready to go.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But it's got real practicality, right? Not just some flashy gimmick.
Oh, definitely. This isn't just for show. It's actually a clever way for Changan to navigate China's strict regulations on pickup trucks. So you get the utility of a truck, hauling bikes, camping gear, all that, with the benefits of an EV.
It's the best of both worlds. How does that bed size compare to, say, a Ford Maverick or one of those Chevy Silverado EV midgates?
Well, it's definitely on the smaller side, closer to 3 feet long. Don't expect to be hauling lumber, but for everyday stuff and weekend adventures, it's perfect.
Still, when you hear Transformer, it's hard not to think of the Tesla Cybertruck.
Oh yeah, or even Audi's Actisphere concept.
But the difference is, those are still just concepts, futuristic dreams.
Right. The E07, you can buy this thing today. It's a production model, ready to roll.
And speaking of rolling, let's talk about the E07's looks. It has a definite futuristic vibe, wouldn't you say? Sleek, angular, kind of Cybertruck-ish even.
For sure, that closed-off front grille, those full-width headlights.
Yeah, those photos I saw, that blacked-out lower bumper gives it an aggressive stance almost.
And then that coupe-like sloping roofline, sporty and stylish.
Sounds like they nailed the balance between function and form. But it's not just about looks, right? That aerodynamic shape has to play a role in its efficiency.
Oh, absolutely. The E07 boasts a low drag coefficient, 0.237 CD. Not far off from a Tesla Model X, which is known for its slippery design.
So it's sleek, efficient, and what about size? Is this a compact SUV or something more spacious?
More on the spacious side, we're talking 5,045 millimeters long, 1,996 millimeters wide, and a 3,120 millimeter wheelbase, similar in size to a Tesla Model X.
Wow, so plenty of room for passengers and gear.
5 seats, plenty of comfort.
Okay, so we've got the transforming capability, the head-turning exterior, but let's get to the tech. That's what I'm really excited about with these new EVs. And the E07 sounds like it doesn't disappoint.
No, it does not. It's packed with tech. Where do we even begin?
Let's start with those driver assistance systems.
Yeah.
I was reading about 11 cameras, 5mm wave radar.
12 ultrasonic radars.
And wait, did I read this right? 2 LiDAR units.
That's right. 2 LiDAR units, all powered by NVIDIA's Orin X chip. Talk about processing power.
That's insane. Most cars I've seen have maybe 1 LiDAR unit, if any. So we're talking serious autonomous driving capabilities here.
We are indeed. Level 2 plus autonomy, to be precise.
So highway driving, lane keeping, all that good stuff.
All that and more. Now step inside and the tech continues.
Yeah, those photos of the interior. Minimalist, futuristic, and that screen.
Right. Forget your traditional instrument cluster. The E07 boasts a massive 28.86-inch augmented reality head-up display, or AR HUD, plus a 15.4-inch central control screen.
It's like a spaceship. I love how more and more car companies are incorporating AR, having all that info, navigation, speed, warnings projected right onto your windshield. It's just so cool.
It's definitely futuristic. And practical, too, helps keep your eyes on the road.
Safer, too. Now, I keep hearing about this optional foldable screen. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, that's clever. A hidden screen tucked away above the front passenger seat. It flips down when you need it, perfect for passenger entertainment, movies, games, whatever you want.
Oh, that's got to be great for road trips. Keep the kids entertained.
Absolutely, and it's all controlled by voice assistant. Just say, hey, voice assistant name, play my favorite playlist on the passenger screen, and you're good to go.
So convenient.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing before we move on. The satellite communication technology in the E07. That really caught my eye.
That's game-changing, especially at this price point. We're talking global coverage, constant connectivity.
So even if you're way out in the boonies, no cell service, you're still connected.
Exactly. Peace of mind knowing you can always reach emergency services, get traffic updates, even stream music. It's a huge plus for adventurers.
Agreed. Okay, we've covered the looks, the tech, the transforming capabilities. I'm already sold. But let's talk about what makes it go.
Time to dive into the powertrain. The E07 offers two options, a battery electric vehicle, or BEV, and an extended range electric vehicle, or EREV.
Lay it on me. Let's start with the BEV. What kind of performance are we looking at?
With the BEV, you've got choices 2WD or 4WD. The 2WD comes with either a 165 kilowatt or 252 kilowatt rear motor.
And the 4WD. Give me the good stuff.
Oh, the 4WD is where it gets fun. That adds a 188 kilowatt of front motor, bumping the total output to 440 kilowatts. And hold on tight,
Wow.
because that translates to a 0 to 100 kilometer at a time of just 3.96 seconds.
Wow. That's supercar territory. Okay, I'm officially impressed. But range is just as important. What kind of distances can I realistically expect on a single charge?
Well, the BEV comes with a variety of battery pack options, offering CLTC ranges of 551 kilometers, 651 kilometers, 701 kilometers, and get this, a 1,000 kilometer option.
Hold up, 1,000 kilometers. Are you serious? That's like driving from insert a major city relevant to the user's location to another major city without needing to stop.
That's the beauty of EV technology, and don't forget about charging speed.
Ah, yes, charging. That's always the big question with EVs. How long am I going to be tethered to a charging station?
Not long at all with the E07. It supports 800V high-voltage fast charging, which means you can get 365 kilometers of range in just 15 minutes.
Wait, so I can grab a quick coffee and come back to a practically full battery? That's a game changer.
Mm.
But what about those of us who might need a little extra peace of mind on longer trips? Enter the EREV, right?
You got it. The EREV is designed for exactly that, longer journeys where charging stations might be few and far between. It comes with a 1.5T Blue Core range extender. Think of it as a little backup generator to eliminate range anxiety.
Smart. So for those longer hauls where charging might be an issue, the EREV has you covered. What are the motor options like for that?
For the EREV, you can choose between a single motor setup with a 231 kilowatt rear motor or a dual motor configuration that adds a 131 kilowatt front motor. And it's got a 39 kilowatt battery pack.
Okay, so what kind of range am I looking at with the EREV, both in pure electric mode and with the range extender doing its thing?
All right, so the pure electric range, according to the CLTC, is 200 kilometers for the single motor and 185 kilometers for the dual motor. But here's the kicker. The combined range with the range extender is a whopping 11,130 kilometers.
No way. That's like driving from insert a major city relevant to the user's location to another major city far away and back on a single tank. I'm seeing why people are buzzing about this car. But let's be real. All this tech, all these capabilities, it's got to come with a hefty price tag, right?
Well, that's where Changan has pulled off something pretty amazing. The E07 is shockingly affordable.
Really? Spill the beans. How affordable are we talking?
The BEV versions start at just 199,900 yuan. That's about $28,100 USD.
Hold on. Under $30,000 for a transforming tech-loaded EV with a potential 1,000-kilometer range. That's practically unheard of. What about the ERV?
Also very reasonable. The RUV models start at 209,900 yuan, roughly $29,500 USD.
I'm speechless. Changan has really shaken things up here. We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still so much more to explore with the E07.
Oh, there's plenty more to dive into. We've only just scratched the surface. It's really wild, isn't it? The amount of tech they've crammed into this thing,
Yeah.
especially at this price point. All those cameras and radars we were talking about.
And don't forget those 2 LiDAR units. That just seems like overkill, doesn't it?
Well, not really. It all comes down to safety and accuracy when it comes to autonomous driving. Having 2 LiDAR units means the car can see much more of its surroundings. It's like having eyes in the back of your head for your car.
So it can detect objects better and react faster.
Exactly. More precise, more reliable. It's crucial for level 2 plus autonomy. And let's not forget about the brains behind all of this, that NVIDIA Orin X chip.
Yeah, that's a seriously powerful chip. I know NVIDIA makes those chips for gaming computers and stuff. They're super high-tech.
They are, and the Orin X is specifically designed for autonomous driving applications. It's processing tons of data from those sensors in real time, making decisions, keeping you safe.
Okay, so I'm cruising down the highway, rush hour traffic. How does that level 2 plus autonomy actually work in a real-world situation like that?
Well, imagine this. Instead of being stressed out, gripping the wheel, your car is smoothly handling the stop-and-go traffic.
Okay, I like where this is going.
The E07 will keep a safe distance from the car in front, stay centered in its lane, and adjust its speed as needed. You're still in control, but the car is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
It's like having a co-pilot who's always alert and never gets road rage. Sign me up.
And what about that crazy augmented reality head-up display? It seems like a gimmick, but is it actually useful?
It's so much more than a gimmick. Imagine all the essential information, your speed, navigation prompts, any warnings projected right onto your windshield.
Yeah.
You don't have to take your eyes off the road.
That sounds amazing, but wouldn't it be distracting, having all those graphics right there in your face?
Not at all. It's designed to be intuitive and unobtrusive. Think of it like this. Instead of glancing down at your dashboard, you get all the info you need right in your line of sight.
So it's actually safer than looking at your traditional instrument cluster.
Exactly. And the AR HUD can even highlight potential hazards in your peripheral vision. For example, if there's a car in your blind spot while you're changing lanes, the system can project a bright warning right where the car is, making it impossible to miss.
Now that is cool. They've really thought of everything. What about that foldable screen for the front passenger? I got no more about that. Ah, yes. The ultimate passenger entertainment system. Imagine, you're on a long road trip. Your passenger wants to watch a movie, work on their laptop, whatever. This screen flips down from the ceiling, giving them their own personal space.
It sounds like first-class air travel, but in a car.
Exactly. And when they're done, it disappears back into the ceiling, no clutter. And the best part, you control it with your voice. No need to fiddle with buttons or menus while you're driving.
Oh, I love that. Speaking of staying connected, we have to talk more about the satellite communication tech in the E07.
Yeah.
Sounds like it could be a lifesaver in certain situations.
It really could be, especially if you like to venture off the beaten path. No cell service, no problem. You're still connected thanks to the E07's satellite communication system.
Okay, paint me a picture. I'm driving through the desert, miles from civilization, no bars on my phone. What can I do with this satellite tech?
In an emergency, you can call for help. You can get real-time weather and traffic updates. You can even stream music or podcasts if you want.
It sounds like a must-have for anyone who likes to explore. You're never truly alone, even when you're off the grid.
That's the idea, safety and connectivity no matter where you go.
Okay, let's switch gears and dive into those powertrain options. BEV versus ERUV. What's the deal? What are the key differences, and how do I know which one's right for me?
Well, if you're mostly driving around town, maybe doing a short commute, and you have access to charging at home or work, the BEV might be the perfect fit.
Makes sense. It's all electric, so no range anxiety if you're just doing shorter trips.
Exactly. And even if you do need to go on a longer trip, those BEV range figures are pretty impressive. Up to 1,000 kilometers on a single charge. That's not too shabby.
Definitely not. What about performance? I remember you saying the BEV, especially the 4WD version, was surprisingly quick. Refresh my memory. How fast are we talking?
Fast. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in less than 4 seconds. That's quicker than a lot of sports cars out there.
I can't even imagine. So it's not just practical and eco-friendly, it's actually fun to drive.
Oh, absolutely. And with all that instant torque from the electric motors, you get that satisfying push you back in your seat acceleration.
Now, I'm not a car expert or anything, but I know torque is important. I just don't really understand what it means in practical terms.
Think of it this way. You're merging onto the highway, or maybe passing a slower car. Torque is what gives you that burst of power to accelerate quickly and safely. And electric motors are known for having tons of torque, which makes them super responsive and fun to drive.
Okay, that makes sense. So the BEV is zippy and efficient, but what about those CLTC range numbers? I've heard those can be a bit optimistic. How do they translate to real-world driving conditions?
That's a good point. Those CLTC numbers are usually based on ideal conditions, perfect weather, flat roads, that sort of thing.
So in the real world with hills and wind and stop-and-go traffic, I'm probably not going to get 1,000 kilometers on a single charge.
Probably not. But even if you factor in real-world conditions, you're still looking at a very impressive range, maybe 800 to 900 kilometers on the high end.
That's still really good. But what about charging? I know that's a concern for a lot of people who are considering going electric. How long does it take to charge this thing?
Well, with the E07's 800-volt fast charging capabilities, you can add hundreds of kilometers of range in just a few minutes.
So it's like filling up your gas tank, but instead of pumping gas, you're grabbing a quick coffee or snack while your car charges.
Exactly. And as charging infrastructure improves, those charging stops will become even faster and more convenient.
Okay, let's move on to the EREV. I can see this being a popular option for people who aren't quite ready to commit to a fully electric car.
Absolutely. It's a great way to dip your toes into the world of electric driving without worrying about range anxiety.
So I can drive around town on electricity most of the time, but if I need to take a longer trip, that range extender kicks in and gives me the peace of mind of a gasoline engine.
You got it. The ERV uses a small gasoline engine, the 1.5T Blue Core, as a generator to recharge the battery, so you never have to worry about running out of juice.
So it's essentially a hybrid, but the gas engine never actually powers the wheels directly.
That's right. It's called a series hybrid system. You're always driving on electric power, which means you get that smooth, quiet, and efficient driving experience all the time.
That's really cool. How does the range on the EREV compare to the BEV?
Well, the all-electric range is a bit lower, 200 kilometers for the single-motor version, 185 for the dual motor, but that's because it has a smaller battery pack. But the combined range, with the help of that range extender, is 1,130 kilometers.
Wow, so you could drive from insert a major city relevant to the user's location to another major city far away on a single tank, essentially. That's amazing.
It is, and it really takes the stress out of long-distance driving.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about price. As we've discussed, the E07 is surprisingly affordable, especially considering all the tech and features it offers. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around it. Remind me again how much we're talking.
The BEV models start at 199,900 yuan, which is about 28,100 US dollars.
Less than 30 grand for a car that can transform, drive itself, and go hundreds of kilometers on a single charge. That's unbelievable.
It's a steal. And the EREV models start at 209,900 yuan, or roughly 29,500 USD.
Changan's really set the bar high with the E07. I think it's going to force other car makers to step up their game when it comes to affordability and innovation.
I think you're right. The E07 is proof that you don't have to sacrifice quality or features to get a great EV at a reasonable price.
It's an exciting time to be following the electric car market. But we've only scratched the surface of what the E07 means for the future of mobility.
We've got lots more to discuss, so stick around. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Welcome back, everyone. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about the future of EVs after learning all this about the Nevo E07.
Yeah, it's hard not to be impressed. This car is a real game changer.
Totally. But let's zoom out for a second and think big picture. What does a car like this tell us about where the whole auto industry is going?
Well, I think one thing is for sure, traditional car categories are starting to become a thing of the past. The lines between SUVs, trucks, even cars, it's all getting blurry.
And the E07 is a perfect example, right? It's like they took all those categories, threw them in a blender, and out came this super versatile transforming EV.
Exactly. And it's not just about practicality. The E07 is stylish, it's loaded with tech, it performs well, it's got great range, and it's good for the environment. What's not to love?
It really seems like they thought of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it also makes you realize that innovation isn't just coming from the big, well-known car companies anymore.
Absolutely. Companies like Changan, they're really pushing the boundaries, and they're proving that you can build an amazing EV without breaking the bank.
I think the rest of the industry is taking notes. But the big question for a lot of people is, when can we get our hands on one of these things? Because right now, the E07 is only available in China.
That's right. But, I have a feeling we'll see it in other markets pretty soon.
I hope so. The world needs more EVs like this.
Agreed. The more options people have, the faster we can make the switch to electric vehicles. And that's good for everyone.
Well, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the Changan Nevo E07. Hopefully you've learned a lot about this amazing EV and what it means for the future of cars.
It's an exciting time to be a car enthusiast.
Oh.
Who knows what the future holds?
Only time will tell. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you in the next one.